HODs of all departments, and our colleagues to this webinar. Last but not least, I welcome the delegates to this wonderful webinar. Hope this talk will be useful and have a nice evening. Now, with respect, I invite Dr. R. Sambat Kumar, Principal, JKK NCP, to facilitate this session.
So, very good evening to
Please, sir.
one and all, and also warm welcome on this occasion of the webinar session on Dimension of Quality, sponsored by IPA Bhavani Kumaravalayam branch and organized by Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, JKK Nataraja College of Pharmacy, Kumarapalayam. I welcome one and all for this webinar session. First of all, I welcome our chairperson madam and director sir for their motivation and support successfully organizing this webinar last 2 weeks. So in this occasion, it's my immense pleasure to welcome our special invitee, Dr. Manik Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Science and Technology, Birla Institute of Technology, Mishra, Ranchi. I welcome you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
I welcome our Vice Principal, Dr. R. Shanmugh Sundaram, Head of the Department, faculty members, students and staff of JKK Nataraja College of Pharmacy. I welcome for this occasion, and also I welcome the faculty members and students of other institution, other pharmacy institution in Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka. I welcome one and all for this function. Thank you, one and all. Thank you. You can start, sir.
Okay, sir. Thanks. I'm just starting the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So today we are glad to have Dr. Manik Ghosh, Assistant Professor, Pharmaceutical Sciences and Technology in Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. He worked as a lecturer and assistant professor in various universities and colleges since 2004. He received many awards and honors from various organizations. He published a number of books titled on Studies on Anti-Cancer Agents from Natural Sources, Studies on some Semi-Synthetic Piperine Analogs as CNS Depressants, Pharmaceutical Regulatory Affairs Book 1 and 2, and etc. He had 41 national and international publications. He also done oral and paper presentation in many conferences and workshops with great enthusiasm. He is an active member in various professional bodies. His active participation in the field of research is also appreciable. Currently, he is involved in 4 funded projects with highest budget 22.43 lakhs, and he collaborated with many other fellowship projects. He is also editorial board member of various journals like Journal of Pharmaceutical Society, Natural Remedies Drug Regulatory Affairs, and World Research Journal of PharmTech. Now, it's my privilege to welcome you, sir, to handle the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Are you able to see the slides? All of you?
Yes, doctor. It's visible.
Okay, thank you. Let us start with this topic, dimensions of quality. Now, quality is a very vague term. If we just want to say, it involves many aspects. And since we are related with pharmacy profession, so I will try to give some aspect of each dimensions, how we are going to use this thing in our cases, in our field of the pharmacy. Let us start with the introduction. Grevin, he was a scientist, you can say he is a professor of Harvard University. He has written a review in Harvard Business Review about these 8 dimensions of quality. And he has written this thing in way back 1987 only. But till date, today also, these things are equally significant. These are the 8 dimensions, as you can see here: performance, features, reliability, conformance, durability, serviceability, aesthetics, and perceived quality. Now, these dimensions, as we have discussed here, he has discussed this as per the management aspects, and today we are going to discuss them as per the pharmaceutical aspects. So, these management and pharmaceutical together, we are going to have a very good combination in our field. And it also comprises many things which we know as quality in our fields, like the good manufacturing practices, good clinical practices, good laboratory practices. It comprises each and everything, because each and everything collectively give the quality to a product. Now, here, as you can see, that it is precisely this interplay that make strategic quality management possible. The challenges to manager is to compete on selected dimensions. Now, it is not so that you are going to select a particular dimension and you are going to work on them. These dimensions are related. These dimensions are related to each other, and as you can see here, they are related in a circular motion only. And it is not so that one is not linked with the other. Each and everything is linked with the one another qualities. As we go on for further discussion, we are going to discuss upon these particular aspects. Now, as per the pharmaceutical product, we can divide them in three important aspects. Number one is quality from the product viewpoint. Second one is quality from the patient viewpoint. And third is the quality from the process viewpoint. Because we are dealing with the product, our product is the drug. Patient, obviously, we are going to give this drug to the patient. And how we are manufacturing this thing, what are the different processes that are involved in our drug, we are going to discuss about the quality in these aspects. Now, further, when we go or subdividing these dimensions, these three aspects, that is performance, secondary features, and durability, these three aspects come inside the product viewpoint. Aesthetics, perceived quality, and service, they are coming under patient viewpoint. And the last two, performance and reliability, they are coming under process viewpoint. Now, as per the criteria that has given by the professor of Harvard University, he has defined it in a different manner. But for our cases, we have to discuss these qualities based upon these particular parameters. Now, starting with the first one, quality from the product viewpoint. These are the three things. Starting with the first one, performance. Now, what is performance? Performance refers to the product primary operation characteristics. Okay, so whatever the product primary operating characteristics will be there, it is the performance of that particular thing. And again, it is a measurable attribute. The performance of any product is a measurable attribute. Brands can usually be ranked objectively on individual aspect of the performance. How they are performing, we can just rank the brands based upon that particular aspect. The superior performer depends entirely on the task. Now, it is not so that the performer, depending upon different types of the tasks, we are going to judge the performance. We are going to discuss a case study on each particular aspect also. How we are going to discuss about who is the superior performer and who is not. Now, in case of the automobile, let us start with the automobiles only. The performance here is the acceleration, handling, cruising speed, comforts, etc. Okay, so these are the different aspects from which we can say that whether a car or a bike, it is performing well or not. Whether we are going to purchase these particular things or not. So these are the minimum criteria a person should look when he is going to buy a car. Similarly, in case of television set, okay, nowadays we are going to have a different n numbers of television sets. First thing which we are going to see about the picture clarity, whether it is SD or not. Now 4K is also there. We are going to find out what is the sound clarity. We are going to have Dolby Digital system or not, SRS or not. Again, the connectivity is very important. Nowadays we are just casting our mobile phones in the TV, so we require this Wi-Fi, etc. Or we require HDMI. We are using our laptop. We are connecting it to the TV. Now, TV is not only for that particular purpose which we are going to use 10 or 20 years back. The things has totally changed. The performance of these systems has totally changed. Now, in our case, it's drug. What is the performance? The performance is the selective therapeutic action. That is the right action of the drug. If the drug is going to have a right action without any side effect, then we are going to say that the drug is performing well. So these are the aspects that are related with the performance. Now, in case of the service industry, another industry which is very important, the prompt services, you can say, given to the customer is said to be the performance because it enhances the customer relationship. For example, in our cases, medical representatives, they are going to have a performance. They are working in the service business industry. They are directly linked with the doctors, and their relationship, their communication, their service to that particular thing give the performance of that particular person. Now coming to a case study. Uh, I just want one or two answers based upon these particular aspect, if possible. Okay, so there are two power cells possessed the identical capacity, 60 cubic yard per hour, but achieve it differently. Okay, so there are two cells, and they are working in identical capacity, and they are going to work for 60 cubic yard per, but they are achieving it differently. One, with 1 cubic yard bucket operating at 60 cycles per hour. So it is taking 60 cycles and it is working for 1 hour and it is having a bucket size of 1 cubic yard. Another one is going to have a 2 cubic yard bucket operating at 30 cycles per hour. Now, can you tell me, anyone of you, can you tell me which one is better? Which is the good performer? Can we have a little bit interaction?
So, so you can unmute the mic and you can ask the question.
Anyone?
No problem, sir. You can continue.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so in this particular case, if we are going to discuss about these things, the capacities of these two are different. Okay, the capacities of these two soils are different. But in the first case, the larger bucket, we are going to have, or we are going to use it for handling massive boulders. We can just take out the massive boulders. We can use this particular soil for that particular aspect. And the second one, big small bucket, we can go and use it for precision work. So here in this particular case, we can't say that which one is the better performer. It will depend upon the work it is going to do. What type of work these particular components are going to do, or these particular power cells are going to do. If we require it for precision work, obviously we are going to use the small bucket, and if we are going to use it for massive boulders, we are going to use the large bucket, and they are equally good. Similarly, in case of cosmetics, okay. Now, some cosmetics were judged based upon the resistance to smudge, whether they are smudging or not. They are fixed or to whatever the place they are being applied to, like lipstick or the eyeliner, etc. And some of the person, they are going to judge the performance of any cosmetics based upon totally different aspects. And what are these aspects? These are the irritations, because they are going to have some sensitive skin. So they don't want to use that particular thing. Maybe it is resistant to the smudge, etc. Everything is good. But if it is irritant to the skin, they are not going to use it. So it is very important aspect to know what is the performance here. So the cosmetics performance will depend upon the person also. What is the perceiveness of that particular person? Whether he want a smudge-free things, but if it is irritant, he is not going to, or she is not going to. Okay. Now, these things are known as the preferences. Whatever we have discussed, these things are known as the preferences. But these preferences are very universal in nature. Okay, and based upon these preferences only, we are going to develop the product and we are going to launch this product in the market. And they are going to give the quality to the particular product. Now, in our cases, in case of the drug, effective therapeutic action of a drug is the fundamental sense. You can say it is the performance of that particular drug. Okay, and it comes out with R&D laboratory activities. Okay, the laboratory invent the product, define product technology. It identifies adverse reaction that could cause quality problems or performance reduction, collects data to design manufacturing plant, and establishes control parameters based on theoretical consideration on where, when, and how to perform the control process. Okay, so likewise, minimal contraindications are searched through the R&D work. So in our cases, if a good R&D will be there, we are going to have a very good drug and it will be of better performance. Now coming to the second aspect, it is the secondary features. Now in our cases, the secondary feature, it is there is a very thin line between the features and the secondary features. Okay, you can say the line separating primary performance characteristic from the secondary features is often difficult to draw. Okay, so what is crucial is that feature involving objective and measurable attributes, objective individual needs, affects their translation into quality difference. Now, in case of smartphones, that we are going to discuss about smartphones. For us, if we want to check the secondary features, what we are going to check, we are going to check the screen size, we are going to check the color of the phone, maybe battery backup, maybe RAM, inbuilt memory. Okay, so these are the things which we are going to check. Okay, inbuilt memory, it may be of 16 GB, 32 GB, RAM, 2 GB, 4 GB, 8 GB, like that. Battery backup, it may be of 8 hours, 10 hours, maybe 24 hours, maybe 7 days, like that. There are different size of the screen, 5 inch screen, 5.5, 6 inch screen. So it depends upon these things are the secondary feature. It has nothing to do with the primary feature of a phone. The primary feature of a phone is just to make a call. It has nothing to do with each particular aspects. Okay, we are just going to make a call or send SMS. These are the primary features of any of the phone. But nowadays we are just going to these particular aspects, and these aspects are also very important. So in case of drugs, in our cases, so the easiness to provide the required drug amount to the patient is said to be the secondary feature of the drug. How in how easy way we are going to give the drug to a particular patient. The degree of risk of alteration in the drug is again a very important aspect. And the last thing, an important thing, if a drug is able to substitute other more expensive alternatives, then it is said to be secondary feature of that particular drug. Okay, so for our cases, the secondary features are different than the features which are normally said in case of the other components. Another important aspect of the secondary features is the ambulatory treatment. In the earlier days, in case of diabetic patient, it was not very not taken care by everyone, that the ambulatory care is going to be taken care by the person, family, or the nurses, or the doctors, etc. But nowadays, these things are not secondary features; they are the part of the primary features only. Okay, in diabetes treatment, the ambulatory treatment was for many years the secondary features, but today it is performance characteristics. So if we are going to have these things are related with the first criteria only, the performance. Okay, so if anyone is going to give ambulatory treatment of care, any nurse or doctors, etc., then it is said to be the added advantage of features of these. Now, in our cases, for example, if any injectable medicine could become a nasal aerosol, then it is a very good feature of that particular aspect. So it is going to be taken as a very good secondary features, or you can say it may be treated as a primary features. It may be treated as a better performance, and these things are advanced only through the R&D works. Okay. At these stages, pharmaceutical presentations that are more convenient for the patients are sought. Okay. In case of TB patients, they are taking 4 to 5 tablets per day. In some of the cases, they are taking up to 16 tablets per day. And now these things are very, very hard to take. If we can prepare some nasal aerosols for the TB patients, because TB is directly occurring in the lungs, and if something can be done or could be done in that particular aspect, then it is going to help those type of patients. So these are the features that R&D persons are thinking, and they are also working on these particular aspects. Now coming to the third aspect, it is the durability. Durability has both economic and technical dimension. Okay? It is both economical dimension as well as technical dimension. Alternatively, it may be defined as the amount of use one gets from a product before it breaks down, and replacement is preferable to continue repair. In our cases, drug, there is no replacement, etc. But in general aspect, the durability is related with the product breakdown and its replacement. Okay, so there are two important implications. The first is durability and reliability are closely linked. A product that often fails is likely to be scrapped earlier than one that is more reliable. And second approach is durability figures sought should be interpreted with care. An increase in product life may not be a result of technical improvement or use of longer lived materials. Rather, the underlying economic environment simply may have changed. Okay. So the durability dimensions related to the period that can elapse between the moment of the product is manufactured and moment it is consumed, it is said to be the durability of that particular product. In our cases, we can see the shelf life of any drug product is said to be the durability of that product. If the drug is present in the shelf and it is, for example, if the shelf life is of 2 years and it is good for 2 years, then it is said to be a good product and the durability dimension is good for the drug product. So, what are the criteria which are increasing the durability of a drug product? In our cases, the packaging is a very important thing. If the packaging is good, which protect the product against contamination, excessive heat, light, or humidity, then we can say that the product will be more durable. And the next thing is the logistic. Why I'm going to say the logistic? Because there are certain drugs which are labile to heat, which are labile to, which can be transported only in cold chains. And if we are not transporting those drugs in cold chain by using refrigerated systems, then there may be possibility that these drugs will not act as they are needed to. So their durability will go on decreasing. So these logistic aspects are also very important. How we are going to transport these drugs from the site of their manufacturer to the end patient is very, very important aspect to discuss about the durability of the drug product. Now coming to the second aspect, it is patient viewpoint, the quality dimensions which are based on the patient. So the things are aesthetics, how a thing look like. Perceived quality means someone has told something about that particular aspect, and we are going to perceive it based upon those particular aspects. And the last one is the service, whether the service of that company is good or not. Now coming to the aesthetic aspect, aesthetic is subjective dimension of quality. Okay, for example, how a product looks, feel, sound, taste, or smell. It is a matter of personal judgment. Okay, maybe some order you are going to think that it is very good. Another person, the same order will be not. He is going to say that it is stale. Okay, so but in our cases, in case of the medicine, the taste and the order of a medicine and its visual attractiveness of the packaging, etc., it add to the aesthetic to the pharmaceutical product. To a large extent, these components are subjective, although there is usually a great deal of opinion agreement about them. Now, hygienic aspect is another component of the aesthetic dimension. Now, here you can see there are two pictures. In this picture, if we are going to just have a packaging of these particular things. Here you can see one eye is missing. Here it is just looking like it is going into the mouth of that particular baby. Now, these type of visual attractiveness, we are not going to know because these things are not attractive in looking. So normally we are not going to buy these type of products. This product is looking very good. Okay, the another one, the Pampers, which is written here in the right hand side, it is looking very good. So these type of product is going to give some visual attractiveness. The other products is not going to give the visual attractiveness. So these aspects, whether a particular person is thinking or not, but it is having a very good effect on purchase of any product from the market. Now, in our cases, to use these particular aspects, what we are going to have, the aesthetic aspect totally depends upon CGMP standards. Okay, current good manufacturing standards. How we are going to do it by providing good training and work habit formation, good work habit formation, and by achieving hygiene in all processes, by having permanent control of supplies, and even by ensuring good personal appearance in laboratory sales process. So these are the aspects where the CGMP standards are used, and we should work on these particular aspects so that the product, whatever is going to the market from a pharmaceutical aspect, it should be having some aesthetic dimension. Now coming to the next aspect, it is perceived quality. Perceived quality, as I already told, that it is an indirect measurement. Consumer do not always have complete information about a product or service that we do. So the indirect measurement may be their only basis of comparing the brand. So how we are going to compare it in certain circumstances, we are going to have the images, advertising, brand name, etc. So the reputation is the primary stuff or the primary things which is adding to the perceived quality. A product desirability, for example, can seldom be observed directly. It must usually be inferred from various tangible and intangible aspects of the product. Okay, so it will depend upon how one person is telling about the product and another person is taking about that particular product. In our cases, we know one company. I'm just giving example, Amway. This particular company does not have any shops, or this product is not present in any shop, but they are selling it by the word of mouth only. Okay, a person is just taking it from the word of mouth. Another aspect is the reputation of the company. In our cases, if I am going to have a drug, maybe a generic drug, paracetamol, and I'm going to have another one, it is the Calpol. Or we already know that it is nothing but paracetamol only. But most of us are going to take Calpol only instead of the generic drug paracetamol, where the paracetamol is written. So it is the reputation of the company, a perceived quality which we are going to have. So here it is an example of the reputation. You can see these are the top 10 pharmaceutical companies 2019. If I am going to have any drug coming from these particular companies, obviously I am going to take it without thinking whether the drug is good or bad. Why? Because it is the reputation of the company. Already we know that the company is good and it is going to give a very good product to us. So there is no change in the dimension, in its dimension. So the reputation is very important aspect whenever we are going to talk about any either it is pharma company or any other company. So based upon these perceived qualities, only the product are getting studied. So in case of in our cases, perceived quality is an indirect comparative dimension. So in our cases, the medical professionals, the doctors who are going to prescribe the drugs, it is impression or indirect signals that has been given to them by the help of the medical representative, etc., about the company or the drug or the product, and they are going to you can say a little bit biased on each particular perceived quality, and they are going to prescribe the drugs of each companies based upon the recommendations. And again, the drug originality and immediate effect of a medicine are aspect of perceived quality among others. Okay, so as a layman, if a particular drug is good, it is just I have taken and within 5 to 10 minutes I'm just getting cure from my headache, etc. Then I'm going to say that okay, this particular drug is good for me, and that is the perceived quality what I am getting, and I may be recommending that particular drug to the other persons. Okay. Another important aspect is the country of origin effects also contribute to the perception of the product of the quality. Nowadays, we are just going through this COVID, and we know most of our API are coming from China. But the European Union and US also nowadays they are just thinking to shift their uh, drug products or API consumptions away from China to other countries. Now they are thinking about India, whether India is going to do the same work or not. They are thinking about Brazil, whether the Brazil is going to take some aspect in these particular nature or not. So these are the things where the country of origin is also affected. Another thing is promoted through the mass media. In our cases, the drugs are normally not promoted through the mass media, but normally the general products they are being promoted through the mass media, and whatever the advertisement we are going to see, we are going to know that okay, these products are very good. For example, the products of Patanjali, Baba Ramdev, or the products of Pfizer, not Pfizer, if I'm going to say about the products of this Hindustan Unilevers, the consumer products, the normal consumer products which are being marketed by these particular companies. Nowadays, lots of advertisements are related with Amul, etc. So what we are getting, since they are promoted through the mass media, there is a perception which is coming inside that these products must be good. And the last one, the laboratory history, the quality information, which the doctor, pharmacist, and other healthcare chains, etc., they are getting and they are perceiving that particular thing. These laboratory histories are also very important. Nowadays, the US FDA recently they have given uh, this manufacturing license to 10 different companies in India, 10 different units in India. Before that, they were very stringent. Okay? And these type of things are related with the laboratory histories only, whether they are following the quality aspect guidelines or not, whether these guidelines are uh, uh, taken care by these particular companies in a good manner or not. So these things are very important. Now coming to the next aspect, it is the serviceability. How the product or service that is given by a particular company is whether it is good or not. Okay. So serviceability is speed, courtesy, competence, and ease of repair. Most consumers equate a rapid repair and reduced downtime with their higher quality. The degree of satisfaction with complaint resolution closely correlates with the consumer willingness to repurchase the offering brands. Okay. Now, there is it is a small case, my case only. I was just going to purchase a TV here. So at that particular time, I've just done a small survey. I just found out, just want to check that what are the different service stations present for a TV company in and around my locality, whether they are present there or not. Because if something is happening to the TV, etc., then I should go and just or I should call them. They should come. So there are many companies from which I just tried, but in that particular area, only one or two companies are giving their service. So again, these things are very important because it is going to give a degree of satisfaction. Maybe the TV which I am purchasing, it may run for 10 years, 20 years without any defect. But the person, as a person who is just purchasing a product, he will be thinking about his satisfaction, whether these things are present there or not. So, so the degree of repair speed, etc., or downtime, these are also important. Another aspect is the company's complaint handling procedures. These complaint handling procedures are very, very important. As a quality person, as a person of pharmacy, we should understand each particular aspect, the company's complaint handling procedures. Because ADRs, adverse drug reactions, these are very important aspects nowadays. Maybe due to some side effects of drug, a person is getting some uh, different sort of ailments. Now, if he is reporting or he is reporting about these particular things and the company are not taking it seriously, then it may be possible that slowly that particular thing may aggravate into a very large type of problems, and that can create a very good impression that particular company. In our cases, in case of the drug, product availability at the pharmacies and ample distribution of the information about that particular product or the drug on part of the laboratory constitute a dimension which can be labeled as a service of that particular drug. A good sales forecasting, for example, can contribute to the improved availability of these particular drugs in the pharmacies or labs, etc. In principle, the marketing strategy of the firm and the large or the short time horizon is defined in its relationship with client will shape service logistics. Okay, so in our cases, if the drug is available, if a doctor is prescribing a drug and if it is available in the stores, then only we can say that the service is good. Otherwise, if the doctor is prescribing and the drug is not present in the pharmacies, etc., then from the next time he is going to prescribe a totally different drug. So the service of the company or the service of that particular product, we are not going to check. Now coming to the third aspect, it is the last one, the quality dimension of the pharmaceuticals. It is the quality aspect from the process viewpoint. So what are the different processes and what are the things which we are going to check? Here we are going to just look on those particular aspects. So there are two important things. One is your conformance, another one is the reliability of the product. Conformance, whether it is conforming to the given guidelines or not, that is the conformance, and reliability is another aspect which is related to the durability. So here the conformance, here you can say the conformance is the degree of adherence of a design and manufacture of a product to accept industrial standards. In our cases, the industrial standards are as per the US FDA guidelines or ICH guidelines, ISO guidelines. So if we are going to follow these particular guidelines, then we can see that we are adhering to the degree of the design of anything. And the two most common measures of failures in the conformance are the defect rate in the factory and the incident of service calls. So, in case of any, for example, if we are going to purchase a mobile phone, okay, and we know that that particular company has very high defect rates, factory defect rates. So, we are not going to purchase that particular phone from that company. We are going to go for another one. Or if the incidence of the service calls are higher, then also we can see that the product or the things that is manufactured by the company is defective. So initially, it has just came out of the company, but after coming to the market or after coming to the consumer, the number of the service calls are increasing. So they are not conforming to the conformance. But these measures neglects other deviations from standards like misspelled labels, food constructions that do not lead to the service or repairs. For example, a TV, etc. If you are going to have the cabinet of the TV, some problem was there or some misspelled label was there. Now that has nothing to do with the service or repair, but the conformance was not made, and since the conformance was not made, so it is not a good product. In our cases, in case of the drug, these are set as the counterfeit drugs, or they are not taken as a good drug manufacturing processes or these GMP guidelines, and they should be rejected. In case of pharmaceutical tablets, for example, conformance measures the presence of the cracks and correspondence between the quality of the tablets declared in the package and its real content. Sometimes the quantity of the tablets which are present, which are written on the tablet package, and whatever that is present in the inside the cartons, they may vary, they may be different. So in our cases, this is one of the declaration of conformance. Unlike aesthetics or perceived quality, conformance is a dimension that can be objectively measured. Okay. So conformance can be measured. For example, conformance in our cases, we can just find out what is the amount of the drug present in any drug in any tablets or capsule. For example, it is a paracetamol. If there 500 milligram of paracetamol present there, we can do that particular thing in our lab, and we can just match it whether it is conforming to the label claimed or not. If it is not conforming to the label claim, it is not a good product. So in our cases, these things are very important. This dimension is very important. The conformance is very important. And it is not like the aesthetic. It is not like the taste. It is not like the smell, which we can't judge, or it may vary from individual to individual. Here, the conformance is based upon a particular criteria which can be measured. And the next one is the manufacturing for conformance required respect for tolerance or mixed proportion and observance of master specification of the component and the final product. Okay, so the respect for tolerance of mixed proportions is very, very important. Now, these are the some hindrance to the conformance. Okay, so here you can say these are the 8 waste or 8 types of process obstacles that get in the way of providing value to the customers. Okay, the first thing is the defect. Okay, if a product or anything, or drug product or any company's product, if it is defective, now it is a hindrance to the conformance. Again, the defective product will come to the company, it will go and increase the burden to the company, it will increase the cost to the company, it will decrease the quality of that particular company, the perceived quality or perceivedness of those particular companies will decrease. Second is the overproduction. We should know that what is the thing that is going to be consumed in the market. Okay, so if we know about the consumption, we know about the customer, okay, how much customer are there in the market, who is going to consume our product, then only we can have these things. So the literature survey here is very, very important aspect. If you don't have the market review, market literature, then it is a very bad thing. So the overproduction is going to hamper that particular company. It is going to be a waste only. And again, the lifespan of a particular drug product is again fixed. If you are overproducing it and if it is not consumed in the market, that certainly implies that you have to take it back and it has to go to the best. Next is the waiting. Okay, the waiting time is again very important. Now, the waiting time for the product and the waiting time that are given to a particular person for one product to another product, it is also a very important aspect that can lead to the waste because the consumer they will not wait for many times. They can switch one company to another company. They can move from one drug to the another drug. Next is non-utilized talents. There are many talents which may be present in the company, which may be present in and around, but we are not utilizing those talents. Okay, so these underutilized people or talents or knowledge, they are the waste to the companies. They are taking the money, they are utilizing the resources, but they are underutilized. Next is the transportation. It may be the necessary or unnecessary movement of the product of the material. Again, as I just discussed in the one or two slides before, that the logistics is very important. Certain products which are being transported by the cold chain only, they should be transported in that particular manner only. If they are not transported, obviously they are going to give a best product only. The consumers are not going to get the product as it should have been. For example, there are many vaccines, there are many different types of drugs which are to be refrigerated. They should be stored at 2 to 8 degrees centigrade. So they should be transported in that particular phases only. If they are not transported, again it is going to add to the waste to the consumption. And inventory, access product and the materials that are not being processed. Okay, you have purchased it, but you have not processed it. Again, they are going to have, because these products are also going to have some shelf life. If you are going to keep them for larger time, again they are hindrance to the consumption. Then the motion, unnecessary movement of the people. Okay, from one place to the another, or it may lead to some monetary aspects also. There are many other things. And likewise, the last and important thing is the extra processing, more work or higher quality than the required by the consumers or the customers. Okay, it has also to be seen. Okay, whether these things are required in that particular quality or quantity or not. So these are the certain aspects which are interested to the conformance, and if any company or any person, they are going to look on these particular aspects before they are starting any product or any things, then it will add to the quality of product or dimension of the product, and it will increase the conformance. Now coming to the last aspect, it is the reliability. Okay. So again, the reliability is very important aspect. The reliability, as we are going to say, that uh, the dimension reflect the probability of a product malfunctioning or falling within a specified time period. Among the most common measure of reliability are the mean time to the failure, the mean time between the failures, and the failure rate per unit time. Okay. So, what are the different failures? If there is no failure or the amount of the failure is less, then these things are to be more reliable than the product which are just failing. So they are less durable, less reliable in nature. So because these measures require a product to be used for a specific period, they are more relevant to the durable goods than to the product or service that are consumed instantly. So in our cases, we are taking the drug product, we are just consuming them immediately. So in our case, the reliability is not very much important. But if certain products, for example, there are certain products which are used by the infants, which are used by the geriatrics, that they have to be kept for certain times. They are in forms of liquid oral, or more than one doses of parenterals. Then in those particular cases, the durability of the goods after keeping them for some time is very important. For example, in certain cases of this insulin, the person or the people, they are taking a particular dose of the insulin, then they are going to keep it in the refrigerator, and after uh, the required time, they are going to take it out and they are going to take it. So if the product is not reliable, okay, and it is not durable, then it is going to hamper to the quality of that particular product. So the reliability is a dimension that creates in the client the mental state of security. So if the mental state of security will be there, then the person is going to purchase that product more than one time because they know that the product is reliable, and if they are going to take it, then it is going to help them only, and it is not going to have any failures. So in our cases, the CGMP and CGLP standards, if they are correctly applied, are the basis of reliability. So the only basis of reliability in our cases is the guidelines. If you are going to follow these guidelines, then only we are going to have a reliable product. When CGMP and CGLP are implemented, robust quality assurance systems operate to increase reliability of any. Okay, thank you. Any questions?
So very nice presentation, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Morning
Any
was very
questions?
nice presentation. I hope it will be very useful for our students and staff. So any questions from student side and faculty side? Just you can unmute the phone and you can ask the questions. Students, maybe they want to see your video.
Okay, sure, sir. Sure, sir. Just a
Then
minute.
only they will ask some question.
Sure, sir. Just a minute.
Faculty members. Yes. Yes. Very nice. So little bit audio is in audio is a little bit disturbance during the session.
Okay,
Remaining
sir.
slides are very nice. It will be very useful. Any questions? Anand sir, Jampalingam,
Sir, my question is,
very
how
good.
far QBD is being reliability invalidation, sir?
Obviously, sir,
Qual-
QBT.
Quality-based drug design we are doing with various software. How
Yes, sir,
far
yes,
it
sir.
is being reliability is there?
Sir, it is a very good aspect, quality aspect. It can be enhanced only by designs. If we are not taking these design aspects, then it is a very difficult thing for us to deliver a new product, because each design aspect are going to tell us many things, because when we are designing it, we are not considering one aspect, we are considering more than one aspect of the same thing. For example, in case of factorial design, we are going to use 2 square factorial design or 3 square factorial design. So
Okay.
maybe I am going to have a particular drug. I am synthesizing a drug. It is going to have a yield of maybe 50% or 55%. I want to increase the drug. I know that the pH is one of the aspects, the temperature is another aspect, and one of the catalyst is one of the aspects. So I can change these 3 components at the same time and going to produce the drug in a very short span of time. I'm going to increase the yield in a very short span of time. So these are very important aspects, and it has to be taken care by the pharmacists who are working in this particular aspect. I will suggest. Even you can use simple Excel sheet also for designing these different type of aspects. We are using it. We are also using certain softwares for these design aspects. And as per me, for example, in case of HPLC also we have used it. So what are the different solvent system we are going to select, and how we are going to select this solvent system based upon this QBD design? We have just prepared something, and it is also going to give very good results.
Okay. Oh, thank you, sir.
Okay.
So Anand sir from Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, any questions? Analysis HOD sir.
Sir, no, sir.
சார் உங்க டிபார்ட்மெண்ட்ல யாரா கொஸ்டின் கேக்குறாங்களா ஸ்டாஃப்? எனி ஃபேக்கல்டி மெம்பர்ஸ்?
யாரும் இல்லையாட்டுங்க சார்.
எவ்ரிதிங் இஸ் கிளியர்.
எஸ் சார்.
வாட்டர் தேங்க்ஸ் சொல்ல சொல்லிருங்க.
ஆனந்த் சார்.
Thank you, sir, for your informative session. So now I request Dr. S. Ananda Tangadurai, Professor, Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis, JKK NCP, to deliver the vote of thanks. Please, sir.
So good evening, everyone present here and online. It gives me a great pleasure to propose vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of the management, principal, staff and students of JKKN, I would like to express our sincere thanks to Dr. Manik Ghosh for his impressive and highly informative talk.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for accepting our invitation and present talk over here.
Thank you.
I also extend my thanks to our management for motivating us to organize this kind of webinar in our JKKN institution. My sincere thanks to our most respected and dynamic principal, Dr. R. Sambat Kumar, for his guidance and support
Thank you,
to
sir.
conduct this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. My sincere thanks to our respected Vice Principal and Mr. Fit of JKKN, Dr. R. Sambat Kumar, sir, for this encouragement and support. Sorry, R. Sanmusudaram, sir, for your encouragement and support to carry out this webinar in a successful manner. We are very much thankful to you, sir. Sanmusudaram, sir. My special thanks to Dr. Venkadeshan, Associate Professor, BIT Misra, to introduce the speaker to us for this today's session. Thank you, Dr. Venkadeshan. I'm very glad to share that Dr. Venkadeshan is an alumni of our JKKN Matriculation School, and he belongs to this city, Kumarapalayam. I express my sincere thanks to the participants from outside colleges, from Kerala, Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. I would like to thank the Department of Pharmaceutical Analysis to organize this webinar in a grand manner. I would like to thank all the faculty members of JKKN for their cooperation and support to conduct this webinar in a successful manner. Last but not least, I express my sincere thanks to our dear students from BPharm, MPharm and PharmD to make this webinar in a grand manner. Thank you, one and all. Thank you.